The key turned in the lock the same way it had 1,000 times before, but something felt different the moment I stepped inside. Silence. Not the comfortable silence of an empty house, but the loaded silence of people holding their breath. I dropped my duffel bag in the entryway. 6 months of deployment condensed into 50 pounds of desert dust and memories I'd rather forget. Mom? Anyone home? The living room was exactly as I remembered it. Same beige couch. Same family photos on the mantel, frozen in happier times. Same coffee stain on the carpet from when Dad was still alive. But something was missing. My stuff. The bookshelf where I'd kept my manga collection since high school. Empty. The corner where my guitar had leaned against the wall. Bare. Even the houseplant I'd asked Mom to water, a gift from my late grandmother. Gone. Mom. That's when I heard it. Laughter. Multiple voices, coming from upstairs. My legs carried me up the staircase before my brain could process what was happening. Each step creaked in familiar protest, a soundtrack to my growing dread. The voices were coming from my old bedroom. I pushed open the door. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Keep reading. This story gets darker. My mother stood in the center of my room, holding up my high school varsity jacket to a ring light. My sister Maya operated a professional-looking camera on a tripod. My brother Jason sat at my desk. No, not my desk anymore. It was completely cleared off, scrolling through what looked like a comment feed on a tablet. And this jacket, Mom said to the camera, her voice bright and theatrical, nothing like her real voice. This was from when my eldest thought they were going to be a star athlete. Such delusions of grandeur. Mom, what the hell? 6,300 watching. Jason shouted, pumping his fist. Mom, do the thing about the guitar. That's when I saw it. Through the window. On the front lawn. Garbage bags. At least 15 of them. Dark green, industrial-sized, stuffed to bursting. My life, sorted and disposed of like trash. You threw away my stuff? My voice came out strangled. Mom, you threw away my stuff? All three of them turned to me. For a moment, nobody moved. Then Maya's camera slowly panned in my direction. Oh my God, Jason breathed, eyes wide. She's home early. Mom, she's home. My mother's face cycled through several emotions in rapid succession. Shock, irritation, calculation. Then she smiled. That same smile she'd used at Dad's funeral when distant relatives asked how she was holding up. Sweetheart, you're back early. We were just... What did you do? We're doing a family live stream. Maya chirped, adjusting the camera. Mom's been building her platform for months. This Decluttering My Adult Childhood series is our best content yet. We're almost at viral status. I stared at my 19-year-old sister, trying to find the kid who used to braid my hair in this very room. Horde? I was deployed. I've been deployed for 6 months. That was my stuff. My life. Oh, don't be so dramatic, Mom said, waving dismissively. It was just junk. You're 26 years old. You shouldn't still have boxes of childhood things taking up space in my house anyway. The comments are blowing up. Jason announced, 16 years old and completely oblivious. Mom, look. This is what tough love looks like. Finally a parent who doesn't baby their adult kids. You're getting so many super chats. Think this is bad? Wait until you see what was in those garbage bags. My hands shook as I moved to the window. In the late afternoon sun, I could make out familiar shapes through the translucent plastic. My guitar case. Photo albums. Dad's old military medals that he'd given me. My high school yearbooks. The quilt my grandmother had made before she died. The quilt, I whispered. You threw away Grandma's quilt? It smelled musty, Mom said matter-of-factly. And it clashed with my new living room aesthetic. Something inside me cracked. I ran down the stairs, burst through the front door, and tore into the first garbage bag. Clothes. Books. My college diploma, bent in half. I ripped open another bag. More clothes, stuffed in carelessly. A third bag contained my art supplies, paints dried up, brushes broken. Behind me, I heard the front door open. Maya's voice, "This is perfect. Keep filming, keep filming." I spun around. All three of them stood on the porch. Maya had the camera on her shoulder now, red recording light blinking like an accusatory eye. Jason held up his tablet, presumably streaming to thousands of strangers. And Mom. Mom was smiling that smile again. How could you? I asked, my voice breaking. How could you do this? Dad's medals? Grandma's quilt? Oh, please. Mom crossed her arms. Your father would have wanted you to move on, not worship his memory. And your grandmother spoiled you rotten. That quilt represented an unhealthy attachment to the past. You're literally recording this, I said, incredulous. You understand that, right? You're recording yourself admitting you threw away my dead father's military honors for content. Maya lowered the camera slightly. For just a moment, I saw doubt flicker across her face. The comments love it, Jason said, but his voice wavered. The comments. I stood up, garbage bag contents scattered around my feet. The comments? You traded your sibling for comments from strangers. The truth about why the mom did this will shock you. Keep reading. Listen, Mom said, descending the porch steps. You need to understand something. After your father died, I was nothing. A widow. A single mother. No identity of my own. Do you know how that feels? You had us, I said quietly. You left. The words came out sharp. You left for college. Then you enlisted. You were gone, and I was alone with two teenagers who barely looked up from their phones. So yes, I found something for me. A community. People who actually appreciate me. By throwing away my stuff and mocking me to strangers? By building a brand. Her voice rose. Do you know how hard it is to grow a following? I've been grinding for months. Family drama gets views. Estranged adult children content is trending. This is my shot. The words hung in the air like poison. Your shot, I repeated. I'm your shot. Don't act so high and mighty, Mom snapped. You always thought you were better than us. Going off to college. Joining the military like your father. Looking down on your siblings for making different choices. I never. You did. Maya lowered the camera completely now. You always made me feel stupid for not going to a 4-year school. For wanting to do social media instead. That's not, Maya, that's not what I. And you never came home, Jason added, his voice small. Even before you enlisted. You were always too busy with your important life. I looked at these 3 people, my family, and felt like I was staring at strangers. So this is revenge? I asked. This whole stream is revenge because I, what? Grew up. Tried to build my own life. This isn't about revenge, Mom said coldly. This is about resources. This house costs money. Your room could be a rental income or a home office for my content creation. Your stuff was taking up space I need for my equipment. Then you could have told me. You could have called. Texted. Anything except this. Where's the content in that? Mom shrugged. The drama is what drives engagement. I felt something fundamental shift inside me. What happens next will leave you speechless. Maya, I said quietly. Put the camera down. But. Put it down. To my surprise, she did. I pulled out my phone and started scrolling through social media until I found it at Real Talk with Diane. My mother's streaming account. 47,000 followers. I scrolled through her content history. Empty nest blues. Why adult children need to leave. 12K views. Decluttering my life. Getting rid of my child's junk. Part 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 parts. 89K views total. The Ungrateful Generation. Why I Owe My Kids Nothing. 156K views. And then I found it. Posted 3 days ago. Big stream tomorrow. Finally throwing out the last of my eldest's hoard. She's deployed and won't know until it's done. Can't wait. The comments were nauseating. Yes, your house, your rules. My 24-year-old won't move out either. Need to try this. You're such an inspiration. Boundaries. But there were other comments too. This seems cruel. Did you even ask her? Pretty sure throwing away military medals might be illegal. Anyone else think this is just really sad? You've been planning this, I said slowly, holding up my phone. You scheduled this. You knew my deployment dates. You knew when I'd be back. You did this deliberately. Mom's jaw tightened. I built anticipation. That's good content strategy. Something my therapist at the VA hospital had said came back to me. Sometimes family isn't about blood. It's about who shows up for you. I looked at the three people on the porch, the ones who were supposed to show up for me. Then I looked down at my phone, and I made a decision. Jason, I said calmly, you're still streaming this, right? He nodded, looking uncertain. Good. Don't stop. I walked past the garbage bags and stood at the foot of the porch steps, looking directly into Maya's camera. Mom, you want content? Let's give them content. This next part went absolutely viral. Here's why. My name is Sam Torres, I said to the camera, to the thousands of strangers watching. I'm 26 years old. 6 months ago, I deployed overseas with the army. I served my country. I did my duty. And I came home to this. I gestured to the garbage bags. My mother didn't just throw away my belongings. She threw away my late father's military medals, my late grandmother's handmade quilt, my college diploma, photo albums spanning my entire childhood. And she did it for views, for engagement, for her shot at influencer fame. Stop it, Mom hissed. You're ruining. I'm ruining your content? That's rich. I kept my eyes on the camera. Let me tell you what was in those bags. My father's Bronze Star. He earned that in Desert Storm. He gave it to me before he died of cancer 3 years ago. He told me to remember that serving others is the highest calling. I guess my mother forgot that lesson. Maya's hands shook on the camera. My grandmother made me a quilt when I was 8. Every square had a memory stitched into it. Family trips. Holidays. She worked on it while going through chemotherapy. She died before she could finish it, but she made me promise to keep it safe. I did. For 18 years. Until today. That's enough, Mom said, her voice dangerous. My high school yearbooks. My college textbooks. Letters from my father during my first deployment. A journal I've kept since I was 12. All of it, gone. 4 super chats. 4 comments. For strangers who will forget you exist in a week. Jason slowly lowered his tablet. I could see his face crumpling. And you know what the worst part is? I continued. Not that you threw my stuff away. Not that you violated my privacy and my trust. But that you taught my siblings that this is okay. That family is disposable. That love is transactional. That people are content. This is my house. Mom shouted. My house. You don't get to come back here after abandoning us and tell me. I didn't abandon you, I said quietly. I grew up. There's a difference. I turned back to the camera. To everyone watching, this is what happens when we confuse performing family for being family. When we choose validation from strangers over loyalty to the people who should matter most. My mother has 47,000 followers. But today, she lost a daughter. The comments section exploded. See what happened next. I walked past them into the house, went straight to my room, their content studio, and grabbed the few things they hadn't staged yet. My father's folded flag from his funeral, a shoebox of letters, and a small framed photo of my grandmother. When I came back downstairs, Maya was crying. Jason stared at the ground. Mom stood rigid, her face a mask of fury. The quilt, Maya whispered. Sam, I'm sorry. I didn't think. The quilt was in the last bag we took out. It might not be. I brushed past her and found the bag, tore it open, and there it was, stained and crumpled, but intact. I held it against my chest and felt tears finally come. I hope the views were worth it, I said to my mother. She said nothing. I loaded what I could salvage into my car. It took 4 trips. Maya tried to help with the 3rd load, but I couldn't look at her. Jason disappeared into the house. As I loaded the last box, an elderly woman from next door approached. Mrs. Chen, who'd lived there since I was born. I saw the whole thing, she said quietly, pressing something into my hand. Your father would be proud of how you handled that. You need somewhere to stay? I looked down. She'd given me a key. My daughter's apartment. She's traveling for work. 3 months. Fully furnished. No rent. Just take care of yourself, sweetheart. I broke down completely then. That night, in Mrs. Chen's daughter's apartment, I finally watched the full stream. Someone had already clipped it and posted it everywhere. The video of me confronting my family had 2.3 million views. The comments were intense. This is heartbreaking. The mom is a narcissist. Those medals need to be reported stolen. Someone start a GoFundMe for Sam. But also, this is clearly staged. Nobody is this horrible. The soldier is being dramatic. It's just stuff. Mom's house, mom's rules. Period. I learned several things in the days that followed. First, my mother's account had been suspended for harassment and harmful content. She lost all 47,000 followers. Second, several veterans organizations reached out. One helped me report the theft of military decorations. Another offered free legal counsel. Third, Maya called. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. Sam, I'm so sorry. I didn't understand. Mom said you didn't care about any of that stuff. She said you told her to throw it away. I should have asked you. I should have. I'm so sorry. Fourth, Jason sent a text. I found some of your books. Mom told me to put them in the trash, but I hid them in my closet instead. Can I bring them to you? Fifth, my mother's response to all of it was to post on Facebook, her remaining platform update, taking a break from social media. Being a parent means making tough choices, even when adult children throw tantrums. Boundaries are not abuse. I stand by my actions. The cognitive dissonance was almost funny. But this isn't where the story ends. The twist changes everything. 2 weeks later, Jason showed up at Mrs. Chen's apartment with 3 boxes. I've been sneaking stuff out, he said. Every time Mom goes to her new job, yeah, she had to get a real job, the influencer thing imploded, I grab more. Maya's been helping too. We sat on the floor and went through everything. Books, photos, some of my art, things I thought were gone forever. Why? Asked him. Why now? Jason was quiet for a long time. I watched the video, he said finally. Like, really watched it. Without Mom narrating everything. And I saw your face when you found the quilt. And I remembered when Grandma was sick. Remember? You used to sit with her every day after school. You'd read to her. And she'd work on that quilt. He wiped his eyes. I was only 10, but I remember. And I remember Dad giving you those medals. He was so weak, but he made this whole speech about honor and service and family. I didn't understand it then. But watching you on that video, talking about what those things meant, I got it. Jason. Mom's been different since Dad died, he continued. Angrier. She needed everyone to pay attention to her all the time. And when you left for college, she made it this huge betrayal. Like you abandoned ship. She did the same thing when Maya started community college instead of a university, said Maya, settled. Nothing we did was ever enough. He pulled out his phone and showed me screenshots. Messages between him and Maya. Maya, I feel sick about what we did. Jason, Mom said Sam didn't care about any of it. Maya, I don't think Mom tells us the truth about a lot of things. Jason, should we check the other bags before the garbage truck comes? Maya, yes. Don't tell Mom. We saved what we could, Jason said. There's more at Maya's dorm. She took the photo albums. Some of your dad's uniform stuff. She's afraid to contact you, but she cries about it constantly. I didn't know what to say. I'm not asking you to forgive us, Jason said quickly. I know we messed up. I just wanted you to know. We see it now. What she did. What we helped her do. And we're trying to make it right. What Sam does next will restore your faith in family. 3 days later, I met Maya at a coffee shop. She looked terrible, red-eyed, exhausted. She pushed a folder across the table before I even sat down. I've been doing research, she said. About Mom. About everything. Inside the folder were printouts. Articles about narcissistic personality disorder, parentification, enmeshment, grief processing gone wrong. After Dad died, Mom made me her emotional support person, Maya said. I was 16. She'd tell me everything. Her anger at Dad for dying, her resentment that you escaped, her fears about money. She made me feel responsible for her happiness. And when the streaming thing started, it was the first time she seemed happy. So I just went along with it. Maya! I'm not making excuses, she cut me off. What we did was horrible. Unforgivable. I'm just trying to explain how it happened. How I let it happen. She's our mom, you know? And after Dad died, I was so afraid of losing her too that I just became who she needed me to be. She pulled out more papers. I found her journals. From before the stream. She'd been planning it for months, Sam. She wrote about how your deployment was the perfect opportunity. How she'd been waiting for you to be gone long enough that she could reclaim her space without interference. She knew exactly what she was doing. You read her journals? She left them open on her laptop, Maya said defensively. I wasn't snooping. I was using her computer for homework and they were just there. And once I started reading, I couldn't stop. Sam, she wrote about how throwing away Dad's medals would be provocative content. She knew how much those things meant to you. That was the point. I felt cold. There's more, Maya said quietly. She's been telling people you're mentally unstable from deployment. That you're dangerous. She's trying to get ahead of the story, make herself the victim before you can. I don't know, press charges or sue or whatever. I'm not going to sue my own mother. I know. But she doesn't. She's scared, Sam. Really scared. The video went mega viral. People in her book club won't talk to her. Her sister called her a disgrace. She got fired from the school board committee. And instead of taking responsibility, she's doubling down, saying everyone is against her. That you turned people against her. We sat in silence. I'm moving out, Maya finally said. I got a job, found a roommate. I can't live with her anymore. It's not healthy. And Jason's counting down the days until he turns 18. She's going to end up alone, Sam. Completely alone. And part of me feels guilty, but mostly I just feel relieved. She looked at me with Dad's eyes, and I saw the sister I remembered. I don't expect you to forgive me, she said. I don't forgive myself. I just wanted you to know that I see her now. Really see her. And I'm sorry I didn't see her sooner. I'm sorry I didn't protect you. You're my older sister. You always protected me. And when you needed someone to have your back, She couldn't finish. I reached across the table and took her hand. The final revelation will break your heart and heal it at the same time. 6 months after the incident, as we now called it, I sat in a therapist's office at the VA. So, Dr. Patel said, have you decided what you want to do about your family situation? My siblings aren't the problem anymore, I said. Maya and Jason and I have been rebuilding. Slowly. It's not perfect, but it's real. We're learning how to be siblings without Mom triangulating everything. And your mother? I thought about the emails she'd sent. Escalating from, we need to talk, to, you've destroyed this family, to, I'm your mother and I deserve respect, to, finally, I'm dying of a broken heart and it's your fault. Dr. Patel had helped me understand that last one was manipulation, not medical reality. She wants me to appear on her new podcast, I said. She's rebranded as a grief and family estrangement expert. She wants me to come on and have a healing conversation that she can monetize. How does that make you feel? Like she still doesn't get it. She turned our family into content, it blew up in her face, and her response is to create more content about it blowing up in her face. Dr. Patel nodded. What do you want? That was the question, wasn't it? I wanted my mom back. But my mom, the woman who made hot chocolate on snow days, who braided Maya's hair, who cried proud tears at my high school graduation, that mom died when Dad did. Or maybe she'd been slowly dying for years and Dad's death just finished the job. Either way, the person wearing Mom's face now was someone I didn't recognize. I want her to take responsibility, I said. Real responsibility. Not a performance. I want her to understand what she did and why it was wrong. I want her to get help. To work on herself. To become someone who can have actual relationships instead of transactional interactions. And if she doesn't, then I guess I have to accept that I can't have a relationship with who she is, only who I wish she was. And I have to let go of that wish. What happens in the final confrontation will change how you think about family forever. 1 year later. I never did that podcast. Instead, I wrote a letter. A real one, on paper, with a pen. I told my mother everything I needed to say. About Dad. About Grandma. About what family should mean. About how love isn't content and people aren't products. About how she could still choose differently. About how I would always be her daughter, but that didn't mean I had to accept being treated as less than human. I never sent it. Instead, I burned it in Mrs. Chen's fireplace and watched my words turn to ash. Some things aren't meant to be said. Some things are just meant to be released. Maya graduated from community college and got into a 4-year program for social work. I want to help families, she told me. Real help. Not the performative kind. Jason got early acceptance to college 3 states away. I need distance, he said, to figure out who I am when Mom's not narrating my life. Mom's podcast failed. Her YouTube channel failed. Her TikTok failed. Eventually, she got a job at a call center and stopped posting on social media entirely. We exchange birthday cards. Nothing more. Sometimes I dream about that afternoon, coming home to find my life in garbage bags. In the dream, I handle it differently. Sometimes I yell. Sometimes I fight. Sometimes I cry harder. But when I wake up, I'm in Mrs. Chen's daughter's apartment. I've been subletting long-term. I'm surrounded by the things my siblings saved. Dad's medals are on my wall. Grandma's quilt is on my bed. Photos of better times line my bookshelf. I didn't get everything back, but I got myself back. And I learned something important. Family is supposed to be the people who show up for you, who see you, who choose you every single day. Sometimes those people are related to you by blood. And sometimes they're a kind neighbor who gives you a key. Or siblings who risk their mother's rage to smuggle out your memories box by box. Or strangers on the internet who send messages saying, I see you. What happened to you matters. You deserve better. My phone buzzes. A text from Maya. Game night at my place? Jason's driving up from school. We're making that pasta dish Dad used to make. I text back, I'll bring dessert. As I grab my keys, I catch my reflection in the mirror. For the first time in a long time, the person looking back seems whole. Not healed. Not fixed. But whole. And sometimes, that's enough. If this story resonated with you, please share it. Not for views or engagement, but because somewhere, someone else is coming home to garbage bags on their lawn. Someone else is being turned into content. Someone else needs to know they're not alone. You are not your family's story about you. You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You are not disposable. And you deserve people who show up for you, not because they're filming, but because they care. Asterisk, what would you have done in Sam's situation? Have you ever felt invisible to the people who should see you most? Share your story in the comments, but only if you want to. Some stories are just for you.